If you sit at an IEP table, you belong here. I'm Catherine Witcher, founder of Master IEP Coach, and we're going to talk about how you can change special education at your IEP table and maybe even help others through their IEP process through the Master IEP Coach programs. But before we get started, it's important for you to tell me, what is your current role at the IEP table? Now, if you're watching the replay of this, I want you to know that I'm confident that here right now, we have parents, teachers, admins, and therapists all here wondering, what is this Master IEP Coach thing? That's one of the unique things about Master IEP Coach programs is that we bring together all perspectives of the IEP table, because if you're going to work together, you have to learn together, right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. I want to know, can you relate to any of this? This was me. I grew up a frustrated special needs sibling. That's my brother. He has Down syndrome, and we went to the same school one time in my childhood, and it was not a good experience. I'm not going to go into the details of it. Just know that it's not a good memory. And I saw my mom and dad have to make decisions to move my brother from one placement to another placement. And it was not an easy thing. I couldn't figure out why people just couldn't teach my brother, right? Couldn't figure it out. So I'm like, I'll just become a teacher. I'm going to become a teacher because I'm just going to solve all the special education things that are happening from the inside of my classroom. Well, for all my teachers that are here watching, you know that's not quite how it works. You have to really work behind the scenes in a different way than you thought you would have to when you became a special education teacher, to make sure that every child's getting the education that not only they deserve or they're entitled to, that you imagined in your head. You're like, I'm going to be a special education teacher and this is what's going to happen. And I know I was disappointed when I got behind the scenes as a teacher. I was like, this isn't what I expected. I mean, I considered changing careers. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But what I found myself doing was teaching by day and then coaching parents by night. I know that sounds a little, like, how do you do that? It's possible. And for all the parents who are watching, yes, you can do this too. Master IEP Coach programs are for you. Remember, we said parents, teachers, admins, and therapists. But this was my journey. I was a frustrated sibling. I was a disappointed teacher. I'm like, I'm going to have to change careers. Like, this is not working. But in my heart, I knew I could do something different. But I had to figure out what that was. And there was nothing out there to help me figure out what was going to be next. So, fast forward 25 years, here's the thing. I've seen positive changes in special education every day. For a very long time, I was a single mom and I had to be the sole financial provider in my home. And I figured out how to work in special education independently, helping parents through the IEP process and support my family. And I became hopeful again for the future. There's so much negativity. There's so much just kind of doom and gloom around special education. And I was able to become hopeful again of what is possible. And it was exciting. So here's what I realized along this journey is that you can hear yes at the IEP table more than you hear no. And that doesn't matter what side of the IEP. We're going to talk about the sides of the IEP table in a minute. But what side of the IEP table you're on, you can hear yes more often. We want to hear yes for the benefit of the student, right? We want an IEP that just makes sense. We want an IEP that works in the real world. We want an IEP that we can just say, yes, let's do this. We are on the same page. Let's move forward. I also realized that you can change a child's future. Not only did I see my brother's future change, which, by the way, that means that my entire family's future changed. My future as a special needs sibling is changed because my brother got the education that he needed. Yes, it was a struggle to get there, but once he got that education, it changed our entire family, and it changes my future too. It's important that we look at IEPs. Yes, this is all about the child, and it changes their future and their family's future. And here's the last big realization that happened on this journey is I realized you got to get around the right people, because there's, again, I talked about the negativity, but there's a lot of, I'm just going to call it ugly things that happen in special education. Whether we're talking about from the professional side of, what's happening inside the system, or if we're talking about what's happening outside the system with traditional kind of advocacy approaches that really divide the team into two. But when you get around the right people, and it took me a while to find those people, and I was like, we need more. And that's how Master IEP Coach came about. My calendar got full doing what I was doing. And people said, can you teach me to do what you do? And I said, no. For a very long time, I was like, I'm not going to package all this up. Like, I'm making the change. I'm doing the thing. And then my calendar got full and I went, okay, let's try this. That was way back in 2016-ish, 2017, Master IEP Coaches is created. And now you have the opportunity to not have to wonder, like, where are the people at that are making changes? Where are the positive people at? Where's the hope? Where's the strategies? Where are all those things? It is inside Master IEP Coach. Now, is Master IEP Coach, and when I say Master IEP Coach, I mean Master IEP Coach as a whole. We've got a couple of different programs. You can choose which one is right for you, but you have to believe in these three things. Otherwise, I'll be honest with you, you're not in the right place. And that's okay. If this is not the right place for you, it's all right. But if these three core values really sit with you and you're like, yes, then stick around and see what your options are for Master IEP Coach community and getting involved. Number one, you have to be an idea bringer. Now, to be an idea bringer, you have to believe that learning never stops. Learning never stops for our children, our students. It never stops. This whole, maxed out, hit that plateau. Like, no, we just need to learn how to do things differently. So you believe that children continue to learn all the time, that there is no maxed out, like, oh, sorry, child is 12 years old, they've maxed out in speech, so let's reduce speech therapy. No, like, you don't believe that. You don't believe that. You believe that there's always options for a child to continue to improve their communication skills. You also believe that you need to continue learning. You know that you don't know it all. Here's the thing. I've been doing this for 25 years. I don't know it all. I'm never going to say that I know all the things about all the things in special education. I'm constantly learning. Now, do I have 25 years of learning kind of packaged up for you? Absolutely I do. Do I know the right places to look when I don't know the answer? Yes, I do. Do I know the right people to get connected to so we can get the experts that we need? Yes. But you have to be that person that sees things differently. You're going to bring the ideas. You're going to be a solution finder. If you're like, yep, I'm always looking for a solution. I never believe that there's a roadblock. And I believe that there's more than one right way to educate a child. See, when we get stuck, we're like, nope, all kids need this. All kids need that. This is what inclusion looks like. This is what special education looks like. This is what therapy looks like. This is what, just all these different pieces of special education. If you're like, this is how it is, and you don't have that flexible thinking to say, well, this is how I think it should be, show me why it might be different. And you have to be open to the conversations that there are different ways to get to the same desired end result. All right. Number 3, you're a team builder. There are no sides of the IEP table. Can we just get rid of that thought? Now, I know it feels that way. All right. But feelings are not facts. The fact is we are all sitting there together as a team. We're supposed to function like a team. And if we're not functioning as a team, then that's an opportunity for us to collaborate and bring teams together. You need to see this division as an opportunity to bring together, and you never want to be the cause of that division. If those 3 core values sit real well with you, if you're like, yep, I'm in on those 3, all right, then you're in the right place for sure. Now, I get this question all the time. How does Master IEP Coach help everybody in all states? All states have different laws. All states have different rules, regulations. The school systems are set up different. The districts run different. Everything is different in each state. I get it. I have coached families. I have done professional development for teachers. I have worked in all different roles in the special education system in all different states. And here's what I can tell you, majority. And when I say majority, I'm going to give you a guesstimate on the percent. I'm going to say 90%. In my experience, about 90% of the problems that we have in special education are based on federal law and not working together on the purpose and findings of IDEA law. So federal law means that this applies to all states, right? Okay. So when you come into the Master IEP Coach community journey, you choose your program, you choose your path, you're going to get committed to really implementing the purpose of Ideal Law. Now, a lot of times you already know that word FAPE, right? Free and appropriate public education. That everybody's supposed to get this free and appropriate public education. And that's where a lot of our arguments come in. What's appropriate? What I think is appropriate is different than what you think is appropriate. And there's all this discussion over appropriate. Okay. But what is often forgotten, but Master IEP coaches, they do not forget this, that the purpose and findings of Ideal Law is not just to provide an appropriate education, but it's also to meet a child's unique needs and prepare a child for further education, employment, and independent living. Now, if we look at all the problems that are happening in special education and we rise above what's happening in the trenches, like in that day-to-day, and we say, is this IEP meeting a child's unique needs and preparing them for further education, employment, and independent living? And if it's not, how do I become the idea bringer, solution finder, and team builder to bring together the team so we can make sure that this IEP is fulfilling the purpose? If you're like, okay, now you see it, like you see it, you're like, yes, why are we stuck on the district does this or the school does that or the teacher does this or the admin said? No, we're here for a bigger purpose. Remember I said an IEP can change a child's future and it changes the family's future too. We are focused on that. Now, there are a lot of nitty gritty things that need to happen to get there. Yes, but majority of the conflict, the problems, the struggles are because we're not having that same desired end result of the child being prepared for further education, employment, and independent living. If we can get on the same page for the desired end result, how we get there absolutely can vary state by state, but it's a big piece to get there. It's a big piece to get on that same page. It's a big piece to say, what does the child's school day look like so they are prepared for the future? What services do they need? What are their current present level? All these things. There's all these pieces. But this right here, this is the core of why Master IEP Coach works across the country. Now, there's 3 ways to become a Master IEP Coach. I'm using this term big here, this Master IEP Coach. Number 1, there's a certificate program. So if you're listening to all this and you're like, I want all of this for myself. Like, I don't know if I want to coach everybody else. I just want it all for me. Like, I need this for me. I need this for my team. You're in that situation where you're like, my oxygen mask first, right? They tell you, like, you take care of yourself in crisis and struggle. If you're in, severe burnout, if you're just like, I can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. The certificate program is right for you. It's going to pull you out from there. And then you might decide later that you want to help other people through the IEP process. But if you're like, yeah, I've been there and done that. I've been burnt out. I've been in the place where I can't see, the light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to help not just myself. I want to help others. Yes, I want new strategies for me, whatever your current role is at the IEP table. But then I also want to help other people. I want to get paid for my expertise, and I want to help other people through the IEP process. That's the mentorship. There's a mentorship, which is called the Fast Track Mentorship. And then there's a network. There's this whole thing happening behind the scenes, this network that you don't even know it exists, most likely. A whole network of Master IEP coaches that are doing the work that I just told you about, the idea bringers, solution finders, team builders. They're getting paid for their IEP expertise. They've got all these things set up. Okay, this is 100% online. And this is what we're going to talk a bit more about today. I'm going to share with you how you can become the Master IEP coach that helps others through the process. Now, there is a third way to become a Master IEP coach, and that's to come to one of our 2-day retreats. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to talk about the retreats today. The retreats are typically attended by those who have the certificate, and they're like, I'm ready to go next level, and I want all in. Just put me with Master IEP coaches in real life, and I'm just going to go for it. Or you've already been through the mentorship. You've done a fast track. You're in the network and you're like, I'm going to level up. I'm going to scale. I'm going to go to that next level. I want my calendar full. I'm doing this. I've got this and I want my calendar full. So those retreats are really immersive. They're really that next level. But those are the 3 ways that you become a Master IEP coach. Now, here we go. This is where everybody says, I don't know if I have what it takes to become a master IP coach. Do you have to have a degree? Do I have to have already taken a ton of trainings? What do I really need? I get a lot of objections of, I don't think I can do this because, like, fill in the blank. I'm sure that the objection that's in your head right now, and I'm not going to ask you to put in the comments. This is for you, but this is for your now. That voice in your head that is like, you know what? I don't feel like I know enough. I don't really know how do I charge people. I don't really know if I can balance life and in doing this. I don't know if I can be a teacher and do this. I'm just a mom. I don't know if anybody would hire me to do this. I mean, there's a lot of questions that come along with starting your Master IP Coach mentorship to become a Master IP Coach to help other people. But I'm going to go through 5 things. If you have these 5 things, you're good to go. I promise you. I've been doing this since 2017, and I have helped a lot of people through the Master IEP Coach process. And I promise you, if you have these 5 things, you can do this. Here we go. Number 1, IEP basics. And what I mean by IEP basics is you have experience at the IEP table. I don't care if it's as a parent, a teacher, an admin, a therapist, as a grandparent, as a paraprofessional. I don't know what your IEP experience is, but you have to have some, because this is not IEP kind of 101. This is not teaching you what an IEP is. This is improving IEPs for others and for yourself, because most of you are still sitting at an IEP table for yourself. So you have to have at least a foundation of, like, you know what an IEP is, like you've seen one before, you've sat at some meetings. Okay. Number 2, you have to have the desire to create change, because if your heart's not in this, if you're just like, well, it kind of sounds like this would be fun, I'm going to tell you, this is not something that just happens magically. You don't say, I'm going to become a Master IP coach, and all of a sudden everything just comes together. It falls together. No, this is a process that you go through, and we'll talk about what that process is and how the fast track can help you do that. But your heart's got to be in it. You have to have that feeling of, there's got to be a better way, and I want to be part of that solution. Okay, so you got the heart for that. Knowledge. You have to be willing to learn some different ways of doing things. We have Master IP Coach methods. You're going to be able to build your own Master IP Coach toolbox, and that takes you being open-minded to learning different strategies within special education that you probably have not seen before. Skills. You have to be open to learning new skills, not just IEP skills, but if you're going to do this Master IP Coach thing, okay, if you're really going to make this work, you can't be afraid of technology or social media. I didn't say that you have to be tech savvy, and I'm not going to make you go on Instagram and start dancing and pointing. Not going to do that. What I'm saying is you have to be able to follow the directions to point and click and follow, put this here, link this here. And basically, if you can make a Word document, if you know anything about Google, like Google Docs, those kind of things. Okay. If you're just like, yeah, I can push some buttons, learn some things, watch some tutorials to do that, you're good. You have those skills, because I have everything for you inside of this mentorship that says, this is how you build a 1-page website that helps your clients get to know who you are and sign up for a free consult with you. Oh, and this is how you do the free consult. And then this is what you need to do to set up your professional email. So when you're emailing people back and forth, that you don't have, your Hotmail from a long time ago or your Yahoo. Okay. You all probably have your Gmail, but it doesn't need to be your personal Gmail. And I don't even want it to be a professional name at gmail.com. No, I'm going to teach you how to set up a professional email, because this is going to be your work. And this is the real deal. This is a true commitment to, I'm going to change special education. I'm going to make this happen. Number 5 is you have to be willing to put things on repeat, which means that we don't learn things and then we're done. You don't come into this program and go, okay, that was great. I know everything. Now I'm moving on. Hit and repeat means that you're actually going to work through this IEP business development wheel. I have a wheel for you. And wheel goes round and round and round, meaning that you're going to work on your website. You're going to work on personal development. You're going to work on your services and your pricing. You're going to work on these 8 different areas, and you're going to do as much as you can in each of those areas. And while you're working on those areas, you're going to grow. And then as you grow, you're going to go back and you're going to do those 8 areas again. And then you're going to do those 8 areas again. And when you hit things on repeat like that and you become consistent, your calendar becomes full. All right, let's just stop here for a minute. Let's talk about Geneva, who had a little bit of teaching experience. Her husband was in the school system. She took the program. She is, ready to launch her website, and this is something where she's taken action to do this. We have Shelly, who says, absolutely join the mentorship. You won't regret it one bit. The mentorship changed how I approached writing IEPs after 25 years as a special educator. So getting in earlier in my career would have made a total difference. Now, Cassandra, she's a mom, and she helps other parents through the IEP process. One of the things that she's most proud of is when she's able to help parents through really difficult placement decisions. She's had to navigate that for her own family, and her own experience then connects with other families who are going through the same struggle. And she's like, listen, I've been where you're at. I'm 10 steps ahead of where you are. Let me help you get here faster. Because it took her too long to get to where she needed to be for her family. Now she helps other families. And then we have Abby, who says, I'm called a lot of things in this life, but being called a master IEP coach is definitely one of the coolest. So she gets to serve other families, and it allows her to make a difference in ways that she didn't think was possible. So she works both in the school system, and she is a master IEP coach. Now, I want to invite you right now to join me on the Master IEP Coach Summer Fast Track. This is not going to happen again this summer. We've got one session this summer. It lasts 4 weeks. I'm going to walk you through it super quick because you can send me all the questions that you want. So let me just highlight a few things. And as you're listening to this, and I know that you're multitasking, it's okay. It's all right. All right. Just jot down some notes, and you're like, you know what? I need to ask. I need to ask Catherine about this. So let me invite you in the Master IEP Coach Summer Fast Track. We start on June 16th. So that's in just a few days. During the Summer Fast Track, you're going to build your own Master IEP Coach toolbox. See, everybody's Master IEP Coach journey is different. My journey is mine. I'm going to teach you how to build your journey, your experience in special education, what you want to achieve, who you want to help, how you're going to do that, what your schedule looks like, how you're going to fit this in. It's all different for you. It's different for everyone. So I'm going to help you build a Master IEP Coach toolbox that's going to allow you to be ready to take clients for back to school season. I know school just got out. I get it. But right now is the time to prepare for back to school season if you're going to become a Master IEP coach. Now, you don't have to do a hustle and grind. You don't have to lose sleep over this. This is going to easily fit into your summer. So next school year is different for you. All right, the Master IEP Coach Fast Track is everything that you need to help parents build IEPs that work in the real world, troubleshoot struggles before, during, and after IEP meetings, and I'm going to help you set up your virtual office. No, you don't have to show up anywhere in person if you don't want to. Okay, you can be 100% virtual Master IEP Coach. And let me just share with you for a minute. I was a virtual Master IEP coach. Now, I didn't call myself that back in the day. This is, back in, let's say, not 2008, 2006, right around there, 2006, 2008. I had to teach myself to become a virtual support, a virtual IEP coach, a virtual advocate, if you will. Okay, people say, what's the difference between an advocate and a Master IEP coach? It's really how we approach things. It's really just our way of coming to the team just in a different way. Okay. But I had a really, really sick daughter at home, and I could not leave the house. In fact, I didn't know when she was going to be sick because she had seizures. So life just would change in a moment's notice on things. I had to learn how to I'm going to teach you how you can become a virtual coach. So I was a virtual coach before virtual coach was like a thing. Like, we didn't have Zoom. I was back in the day where it was just phone. Okay. When I say this is possible for it to be flexible to fit into your current schedule, I'm not kidding you. I've been in the busiest, hardest seasons of life, and I was able to do this. Okay. Here we go. Week 1, I'm going to teach you how to build IEPs for the real world. Week 2, I'm going to teach you how to set up your virtual office, everything from your website to your email to social media, client services and pricing. This is one of the biggest things that people get stuck on, is like, how do I charge? How much do I charge? How do I send an invoice? How do I know people are going to pay me? How do I get free consults? How do I, have free consults? And then how do I know if people want to work with me? There's all these questions with this. I promise you, I'm going to answer all of them. I'm going to show you what was successful for me and supporting my family. I'm going to share with you what other coaches are doing. Remember, this is your journey. So I will share with you what coaches are charging, what their packages look like, what their workflow looks like, how to never undercharge or overcharge a family for working with them. I'm going to teach you marketing and more. So meaning that all these things, all the loose ends, all the questions that you have, we're going to have plenty of time for those. You're going to be able to meet your fellow master IP coaches. You're going to build your business without overthinking. I'm going to cut your learning curve when it comes to like, well, how do people even find me? And I'm going to help you build a 90-day master IP coach success plan. In addition to that, you're going to get 30 days of live coaching. So all of those trainings are going to drip to you. You're going to get those, but we're also going to have 6 live group coaching sessions and 8 virtual office days. So here's what happens. 6 live sessions means that we'll be live. You can come in, we can talk, we can chat, we can work together. I'm going to give you coaching. I'm going to teach you new things. Yes, you're going to get replays for those. I also have, within these 4 weeks, I have 8 days where you're going to be able to leave me questions anytime you want to, 24/7 for the 4 weeks. And on these virtual days, I'm actually going to hop into where you left the questions, and it's not a community. It's not where everybody's putting all their messy questions everywhere. You get to send your questions to me one-on-one on an app. It's called Voxer. And you can either type it in, you can send me a voice message, and I most likely am going to be voice messaging back to you. I love to leave you a voice message and say, oh, great question. Here's your answer. And I'm literally going to give you your exact answers that you need on your Master IP Coach journey during virtual office days. I'm also going to send you emails that are going to help walk you through the program. So here's the thing, and I know this from being a teacher, from being a special needs sibling, from coaching Master IP coaches through the program. Everybody needs different ways to learn. Everybody has different schedules. And I don't want you to say like, oh, sorry, this doesn't fit my schedule, so I can't become a Master IP coach. Not true. If you love group coaching, you're going to put it in your calendar. If group coaching is not your thing, you're going to watch the replays when you're unloading the dishwasher. You're going to watch the trainings on your own schedule. And then you're going to send me questions. You're going to get one-to-one support all on your schedule. And you're going to be able to read, whenever you have time to read, some easy to follow emails to walk you through all of the steps that you need. Of course, if you know anything about Master IP Coach, I'm always talking about sending out Master IP Coach swag. I cannot wait to send you a Master IP Coach care package, because here's the thing. There is nothing more kind of invigorating than being like, here's my Master IP Coach. Here's my, let's see, I'm trying to think of what do we have for the care package. We're going to have pens, and we have sticky notes, and you'll get a t-shirt. Okay. And you have these, and you're just like, I'm part of something. And I'm never walking into this IEP meeting alone again. And I'm going to be part of this change in special education. You're going to know there's other people out there doing this. Okay, so Stacy has a question. She says, let's see, 30 years experience teaching in special ed, our knowledge in finding specific law support for various accommodations and ideas others have used. Is this program going to support me for that? So here's my question for Stacy. Do you want to run a business? If you want to run a business to help others, then this fast track is for you. If you do not want to run a business, you're like, nope, I just want to get all the information, and you want to be able to send me questions like that. You want to be able to send me just specific questions about accommodations and ideas, and you want feedback, and you want to know where to look. That's the certificate program. That's why there's 2 separate programs. If you want to run a business, you absolutely want to come into the fast track. If you want to help others, you want to explore that, you're coming into the fast track. Okay, which we call the mentorship. It's a fast track mentorship. If you're like, nope, I'm staying in my zone of, I'm not going to run a business, then that's a certificate. So Stacy, you let me know which one, and I will make sure that you have the link for both. All right, here's the big question. It happens all the time. What does it cost to join the Master IP Coach Fast Track? 30 days of coaching, all of those modules, all of the things up and ready to take clients for back to school season. It's one-time payment of $497, 3 payments for $197. You choose what works for your budget to make this happen. And I will tell you, people will say, okay, so I'm gonna enroll, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get started, and then what? Yes, there is absolutely an opportunity for you to join the network of Master IP coaches after this. Yes, there is a membership fee for that. Yes, it is affordable. I promise you it's affordable. It has the things that you need. But first, you got to get through this step, because coming to the network and just saying, I'm here, I'm going to become a master IP coach, and not going through this structured fast track to get up and running, kind of get caught up with everybody where you're at, of just so everybody has the same base knowledge, that's really, really hard. So I want you to go ahead and come into the fast track. And if you're like, okay, I've got everything I need and I'm ready to go, there's an opportunity for you. If you're like, I got everything I need and I need to keep working on these things, okay, and I'm not ready to be around everybody and to go full force, then you have this. You have all of this knowledge and you'll be ready to go when you are ready to go. Let's see. Stacy says, thank you for the answer. When the certificate is accomplished, is there a price break for the fast track? Or does the fast track cover the certificate information also? Stacy, I love that question. So there is not a price break for the fast track because there's so much business information in there. So, however, keep in mind, the first week of the fast track, we do a very condensed version of the certificate. So if you're like, all right, I'm in, like, I definitely want to run a business, but I want the certificate information. So inside of the fast track, because we do go fast, not too fast, but we go fast because I want to get you up and running. I want to get you all the things that you need. So you get a condensed version of the certificate inside of the fast track, just so everybody's on the same page educationally. You're going to get the foundational strategies of the certificate program. And then we get moving into what you're going to do for your business. So I would say if you're like, I definitely want to do the business, but I want some education help in this too, and I want to be able to ask education questions, then you would come into the fast track. I always just want to warn people that if you're just like, I didn't know it was business, I shouldn't have joined the fast track. I'm like, yes, we need to move you over the certificate for that. So it's just make sure that you do know that this is business orientated, but it does have an education component to it. All right. If we have any other questions, go ahead and just send me an email. You can go over to masteriepcoach.com/course. You'll see FAQs. You'll see all the information that I just put up here on the screen, because I know it was a lot of it, okay? And it'll absolutely walk you through most of your Q&A. And then there's also an email there that you can send an email and we can get you that answer, because we do start on Friday. I want to let you know, situations like here, Jenna's describing that she was able to become a master IEP coach and help parents through the IEP process. And the letters that she learned how to write, the strategies that she brought to the table were actually so effective that the team is grateful. You know, it's not very often that a parent brings somebody in and the team's like, thank you so much for bringing somebody in. Usually it's like, oh, yikes, I hope the parent doesn't come with anybody, right? It's just how it feels in our school system majority of the time. Master IEP coaches are welcomed in. Master IEP coaches, when you build your Master IEP coach toolbox and you start to help other families, you have the respect where a lot of times, and this is actually one of the ways that my business grew. I had a special education administrator chase me out into the parking lot after an IEP meeting one time. Now, that IEP meeting, it had some struggles in it, but we got through it. We got solutions. I have the administrator chase me out. Now, the teacher in me, right? Because this once a teacher, always a teacher, right? I have not been in the classroom for a very, very long time. This has been my core work for decades, is bringing IEP teams together to write amazing IEPs and solve some of the toughest struggles, okay? But when that administrator comes running, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what does she want? And she goes, who do you work for? And I'm like, myself. And she says, no way. You work for yourself. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, can I give your name out to people? Yes, you can. I was like, what? Now, Master IEP coaches, they have that experience a lot. And I love to see them because they have the same kind of thing where the administrator pulls them aside and they're like, oh goodness. And the administrator's like, hey, like, this was great, productive. Like, can I send other parents to you in case they need, just they want some coaching, they want some help, they're looking for just some further assistance? Yeah, you can. Then sometimes we have Master IEP coaches who are invited back to schools to do some trainings for the teachers. It's an amazing experience to be that person that teams are coming to. We have Destiny here. Destiny, when she wrote this as a win, she was brand new to the Master IEP coach journey. And she hopped right in. She started doing talks on IEPs. She's been, working with different just partnerships and partnering up in your community and being that person where people can say, like, I don't know about IEPs, but I know who does. I know who we can call on. You can become that person as a master IEP coach. So I just want to encourage you to hop on over to masteriepcoach.com/course. And yes, there's going to be a replay of this. So if you hopped on later, you had to leave and you're coming back and you're like, what did I miss? There'll be a replay of this, because here's the thing. Our schedules are not always going to match. And that's exactly why Master IEP Coach programs are flexible. Parents, teachers, admins, and therapists are the busiest people that I know in the disability community. You don't have time to show up on exact days with exact times to do things at exactly the same pace as somebody else. So just know that all of this is definitely flexible to meet your schedule. So if you're ready to become the idea bringer, solution finder, and team builder at the IEP table, I can't wait to see you on the Master IEP Coach Fast Track.